detail now into some of the aspects of digital infrastructure. Let me get my notes. So we have about 15 minutes for this session, but I want to keep some time open towards the end for Q&A from the audience as well. The topic of our session is more on data infrastructure, digital technologies, data sovereignty, and implications for regulators. I clearly need a coffee, as we all do after the coffee break. Right. So, my first question to Digol is more on the journey of Raxio, which is in the years since the launch of Raxio. Where has the company come so far, and what do you see as some of the interesting trends in your journeys?
Okay, thank you, madam, for having me. Good afternoon. Raxio has been established in 2018. So in the last 5 years, it's a pretty much new company that have done a lot in the African market in the last 5 years. So we have 7 African countries. So we build and manage data centers across Africa. So we have 5 operational data centers running entire in southern, eastern, and West Africa. So in the past 5 years, what we've been doing was developing our market share in the other parts of Africa, including Ethiopia. So we launched it in Ethiopia in 2023, end of 2023. We have introduced the markets. We have entered into the market. Penetration is good, but the challenge is there. As in, have challenges to enter the market. So we remain to design a data center that's robust enough that can support any, be it financial sector, government data, healthcare, education, all types of things. So I mean, so much has been said in the morning regarding digital transformation, and digital transformation needs to be backed by strong, robust infrastructure. And then we are playing that role in supporting the infrastructure part in Africa and basically.
Great, thanks. We heard many times in the morning on how data centers is a key foundational plank now for the digital economy and for digital society. So obviously, data centers are very important in making sure that businesses continue to operate in times of ups and downs. So, how are data centers helping business continuity? Can you share some examples from Rex?
Yeah, I mean, also in the morning and also all along what we've been discussing and what you see also in the digital news is the way that the digitalization in general is evolving, so it's affecting everybody's life. It has come to our mobiles, it has come to homes, you know, even our resident homes are becoming digital, smart home like that, everything. And so with that requires strong systems to run all those. So if businesses have to expand, and then the digital effort is going to increase, and then your reliance on the digital platforms is going. So that requires stronger connectivity, stronger infrastructure be there. So for example, if you take banks, like so as my friend just was mentioning that the transaction has surpassed the teller transactions. So traditional banking is no more there. So you can't afford to have a business, downtime while everybody relies on your platform to make payment, at a restaurant or any place. So you need to make sure that business continuity is maintained. And business continuity comes with a very strong backbone in terms of connectivity infrastructure. So we at Raxio are meant to give that backup in terms of making sure that we have a globally standard, state-of-the-art infrastructure solution to make sure that businesses be confident on their backbone in terms of connectivity, in terms of cooling, in terms of uptime, and then go out in the market and make sure that that's good. But you can't afford to have, because digitization and media, social media, is in one way good also, but it's also dangerous for you. If you have a small downtime, you might going to lose it. So it's not like this notion of system in drive anymore. Like you need to be robust, you need to be ready at all times, and then we are there for to support. Our main concern is to make sure that business continuity is maintained by supporting them with school.
Thanks. I'm glad you mentioned business continuity because we now live in a world where we are so dependent on the digital technology that even a slight outage can lead to, as you mentioned, a loss of business, definitely a loss of brand reputation, and maybe even some amount of transactions. I'm glad you mentioned all these opportunities also. Let's take a step back and talk about some other challenges, such as data sovereignty. Many companies are a bit nervous about, should you put it on public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud? Can you take us through some of these issues?
Yeah, I mean, data sovereignty now is a new trend in Africa. I mean, in Ethiopia, as we have ratified the Data Protection Act, now data needs to be stored within Africa. So it's time for Africa to have our own data. That is going to go, and that is attracting a lot of sight and traction from multinationals, businesses, telecoms. So when it is one of the basis for our establishment is always stay cloud neutral and also carrier neutral. So we wanted to accommodate everyone. So we wanted to create and support an ecosystem that will enable all businesses to have store their data, run their data, and cloud within Africa and within Ethiopia in the context of our centers. And then we enable businesses to be able to run those things within Africa. So Data Sovereignty Act requires that within the context of their countries. And then, like big businesses, whether we take the social media giants or everything. So that has to be, maintained in Africa. It's an opportunity, sometimes also a challenge. So we are in a way in between, in the middle, to give confidence to businesses in local businesses that they will store their data locally. And on the other side, also for
All right, great. You gave so many good examples of banks, social media, other organizations using data infrastructure. So clearly, over the last several years, companies are investing a lot in their data infrastructure. So the big question comes about, ROI. What investment have we put in? What are we getting out of it? Are we getting enough bang for the buck? So the big question is optimization of business infrastructure. What would you suggest to companies here on how they should optimize their business infrastructure investments?
yeah, I mean, we have both mixes in the Ethiopian context, like data center, all in all, infrastructure optimization comes where it's all about creating a very good ecosystem. Create a very good ecosystem. All of us should specialize and focus in areas where we can maximize. Why would a small business or a medium-sized business spend millions of dollars to build data centers while they can do a colocation? Thus, why would a small business has to run everything in a big infrastructure while they can't do it in an open cloud? All these are the questions that we need to be discussing and having more discussion as we go along, and that's going to create optimization. So we're building private data centers. We have a data center. Our colleagues are also there in the IT park, having data centers ready for them. But we still see companies trying to. One thing, like the whole idea behind optimization is making, and then also let businesses focus on areas that they do best. And then we also cover the areas that we do. So they need to focus on their core business and we'll take care of the other.
We just heard a very good panel now talking about how digital transformation is changing different sectors. I'd like to ask you now, how are different industries using digital infrastructure and what kinds of impact are they getting?
Um, we mentioned all areas. I mean, the financial sector has been the one which was mentioned. We can mention healthcare, like the new trend in healthcare where telemedicine, AI-driven diagnostics is coming. When you think of transportation, smart traffic system is coming. When we think of education, AI, AI learning, e-learning, and everything is progressing, So these things, need to be require a lot of reliable backup in terms of connectivity, lower latency, and adequate storage. So our basic purpose is that businesses with this area and these changes, we are making ourselves ready in a way that businesses will do for the future not be worrying about, why would healthcare professional worries about the data or anything else? Let them focus on their business. Other businesses should. So if we don't do that optimization and strategy where everybody does the best that they can do, we'll not be able to.
That's a great insight. Digital infrastructure should be so smooth and seamless that you should not even be aware about it. It just happens. It just makes business happen. You mentioned earlier something about standards. Can you tell us a bit more about how you empower your customers to comply with various international standards, certification, and so on?
Yeah, I mean, Raxio is a global company. We try to comply with all international standards. I don't want to go too technical, but we are certified by Uptime. It's a global certification. So we have a certified data center, three certified data centers. So what does it mean to companies is what's going to come. Companies in these times need to comply to various things. One we mentioned is the data sovereignty. We're here to make sure that they have their data here. And the other one is in terms of sustainability. Environmental sustainability and responding to environment is becoming. So we build our data center in a way that we use most advanced sustainable cooling systems that could make companies comply with international environmental standards. That's one thing. And the other one is for banks, if you take, for example, financial institutions, for instance, with MasterCard, they normally require, you know, payment restrictions like Face IDs and so on. But if those require strong and robust, security, physical security systems. We have, more than 8 layers of security, factors one. Make sure that customers' data is secure. That compliance gives them compliance in terms of security, compliance in terms of environment, and also compliance in terms of uptime.
Fantastic. I didn't know there were so many 8 layers of security to get to access to the data. Wow, that's fantastic. We've got just a couple of minutes. I want to see if the audience has any questions. Otherwise, my last question for you is what can the audience turn to you for in terms of ideas, assistance, resources in their own digital transformation journeys?
Yeah, we will have a more detailed session tomorrow. We have a workshop. I invite everyone to join us where we will have more that we wanted that to be more interactive. We wanted to respond to everybody's question. How are we contributing to that? And also what everybody expects to transform our business. So one of the things you need to do when you is you need to be responsive, dynamic enough to fit into the market. So ready to take part in our platform tomorrow.
That's right. Tomorrow we've got a full 1 hour workshop on this whole issue of data infrastructure and sovereignty and so on. So please, if you have other questions, you can hold on to them till tomorrow. Otherwise, we can take one question if anyone. Chiti has a question. Can we get a mic here to our friend, please?
Okay, thank you so much. My question is around monetization of the data centers. I mean, the investments itself. We had a scenario where clients, whether it's government or businesses, will move their servers to the data center. I mean, they were using the data centers as just hosting platforms. As against moving your actual workload to the data center. So essentially, which of these models in your experience, moving your workload to the cloud in terms of optimizing your infrastructure at the data center, as against moving just your servers to the data center? So essentially, you are using the data center as your real estate, providing you electricity and real estate. Which of these models really helps with the monetization of your data center infrastructure?
It's about optimization of the data infrastructure when you have a lot of physical facilities also for virtual assets.
So as I mentioned, one of the strategies we follow is one is a normal colocation business. We do a colocation business where we do hosting services to actual servers. The other way is we partner with. That's why we remain cloud neutral. We partner with all sorts of cloud businesses, and that can host your businesses in their cloud. You can take either a local cloud or public cloud, but as they expand, they will rely on our infrastructure and they will give you a cloud service. So one of the things that we provide is scalability. Scalability means you can do a small space to host your small business, or you can partner and then link with our cloud customers where you can put your business on a cloud, or you can take a colocation business where you can take bigger businesses in a secured platform. So we are making it ready and palatable any way possible to everyone. But if somebody comes with a specific questions or a specific business model that's different to them, we are always open to see options where we can accommodate.
Great. Thanks, Tego. Thanks, Chidi, for that question. We are exactly out of time now. We are on time for the coffee break now. I can see from here that many of you need a good, strong dose of coffee right now, including myself. So, Tego, thanks so much for a lovely fireside chat. And we look forward to his workshop tomorrow. His team has a whole workshop for 1 hour tomorrow. We look forward to that. Till then, let's have a photograph and then let's all go. A round of applause, please, for Degol for a fantastic session. Thanks. Thanks, Dego. Thank you so much. Coffee and tea are served outside. Please join me over there for one more round of networking for today before we come to the last three panels of today. Thank you all so much. Enjoy your coffee.